The next step was showing that the loan documents were actually deceptive. A lot of the consumer victims that we talked to were struggling individuals. They were living usually paycheck to paycheck, and a lot of times in between paychecks, they would find themselves short maybe $200, $300. And so many of them would go online and they'd do a search. They would search for a payday loan. They would fill out the loan application. And at the very end of the application, they were asked to check 4 boxes indicating that they understood all of the terms of the loan. And each of those 4 boxes corresponded to various hyperlinked documents that they were supposed to have read. The loan document that sets out the terms of the loan has a box, we call it the TILA box. And it would lay out how much money you're taking out. So let's take $300, for example, which was the most common loan. That would be the amount that you're borrowing. It would lay out a finance charge for $300, usually $90. And it would tell you the total of payments, $390. And then you would accept the loan. The reality was very different, though. After 2 weeks on the payday, the consumer would see $90 come out of their account. And then in another 2 weeks, they'd see another $90 come out. And then in another 2 weeks, another $90. And at that point, they've paid off $360. And they figure, $30 more to $390. Well, on the next pay period, they would see $140 come out, at which point the consumer becomes tipped off that something's wrong, something's not right, and they call in. And during that call, they would be told that because they didn't act to pay the loan off in full on their first pay period, something that they had to proactively do, the loan simply got renewed every 2 weeks, over and over, and none of the $360 that they had already paid was applied to their principal at all. If this process were to continue all the way to its resolution, the way it was structured to do, $300 would end up costing consumers $975 in total.
It sounds like you're the one I talked to last Saturday when I called, and you told me I still owe $520.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to me why that is? I've gotten no contract or nothing in the mail, as you stated to me last Saturday. I've gotten nothing. Okay, so now why do I still owe $520?
Okay, definitely, sir. Well, I can go ahead and...
Paying on time for the last 4 paydays, which is $480. And according to my records, I owe $40, and I'm done. Now, why the hell's all the bullshit?
Okay,
Can you
definitely.
explain to me?
Yes, definitely,
I'm
sir.
not going to pay you. I'll tell you right now. So go ahead. I'm sorry. 4 paydays. I don't get it.
Okay, I can...
4 paydays at $120. Now do the math. What is that? $480, right?
Yes, sir. That actually doesn't go towards the principal balance, though.
Why is that? No, you never explained that shit. Why is that?
You can just hear the dismay in their voice when they realize that they've paid all this money and all of it has been in finance charges. The principal is still there, untouched.
The money bag document was one of several smoking guns, showing that the employees knew that consumers were confused, that they were ripping consumers off.
What it showed was that the AMG employees and its managers, they knew how the loan worked. They just weren't willing to tell consumers that. We asked some consumers to send us their loan documents to see what they said. And it became very clear to us, just from a very brief reading of the document, that a reasonable consumer would have absolutely no idea how this loan worked. The language is confusing. It's full of sentences that are interrupted by other information that's unrelated and not relevant to the loan terms. In court, AMG challenged our determination this was deceptive, and actually in one of their filings, their attorneys pulled out specific sentences from the fine print and sort of set them up one after another, and then told the judge, look, judge, it's very clear, the loan was clearly explained, here are all the ways that we disclosed to consumers how it worked. A reasonable consumer wouldn't understand this language, and a reasonable consumer shouldn't need an attorney standing there right next to them, pointing the different places and the order of the sentences to help them understand how the loan works.